And on top of all of that, stay mellow.
When in doubt,
stay mellow.
Stay mellow.
On today's Part of My Take, we have Carmelo Anthony, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, American hero, in studio for an hour. Awesome, awesome interview. We all walked away from it being like, fuck, that was awesome. That was very cool. Carmelo was very cool to talk to. And, we got into everything. So we have Carmelo Anthony. We have some Monday Night Football cleanup, a great Monday Night Football game, some college football talk that we missed on Monday, Hot Seat Cool Throne, and Guys on Chicks. And before we do all of that, we're brought to you by our friends at Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's adds more winning to anything and everything, from regular Friday nights to first dates and especially to watching the game with the guys. It all gets more ding, ding, ding at D&B's. And this season, there's no better place to watch football than at Dave & Buster's, because you get more of everything that makes game day so great. More screens. Dave & Buster's has 40-foot wide TV screen so you can get the best view of every game. More food. D&B's new menu has some great new exclusive items just for football season. More drinks. The beverage game at Dave & Buster's always has been strong. And more space for friends. Ever shown up to a watch party only to find it standing room only? Well, not at Dave & Buster's. And guess what? If you're not into the game, maybe your team's getting blown out, you can go play some games, win some prizes, and have a great time at D&B's. Watch us Thursday night on all of our social channels. We'll be streaming the Washington football team versus the New York Giants. We love Dave & Buster's. It's the greatest place in the world to watch a football game. That is a scientific fact study show. It's basically just our studies, but it's still studies.
No, it just came out.
Shout out Billy.
It just
studies.
came out. They said that it's
studies. Yeah, it's as far as we understand.
Yeah, my understanding is that it just came out. They said it's the best place.
Best ever. So Dave & Buster's, add more ding, ding, ding to your game day with more food, more drinks, and more screen, only at Dave & Buster's. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by Dave & Buster's. Go check out D&B's, the best place to watch football this season. Today is Wednesday, September 15th, and the Baltimore Ravens are... Anyone?
Injured.
Okay, we'll go with injured.
They're injured.
Fumbleitis.
They're a wait and see. Now, Lamar Jackson, there is something about Lamar Jackson because he reminds me a lot of Daniel Jones, the way that he runs with the football sometimes. Not in terms of speed, because obviously Daniel Jones is the fastest player in the NFL, as we saw last year. But no, when Lamar is running, yes, he will make you look like a fool and he will run around you. But when he's getting hit, he's not the most secure guy with the ball sometimes.
Yeah, it was a great game, though. Awesome Monday night game. Overtime, lots of twists and turns. The Vegas crowd was sick. Steve Aoki on the ones and twos. Mark Davis looking
wow, like a virgin.
He doesn't really know how to high five. So he just kind of just fist pumps in his all whites and just looking awesome.
Yeah,
looking just sweet.
He looked great. It was great to see the fans there. It was the first time, obviously, in that stadium that there have been fans, and it was very cool to see.
So the Ravens, that was a game they should have won. They should have won it a million different ways. They let the Raiders hang around. And credit to the Raiders, by the way, because watching that first quarter, you're like, ooh, the Raiders could be bad, very bad, because it was essentially their defense didn't look much better, which ended up looking better at the end of the game. And the offense was essentially Derek Carr trying to throw it into Waller no matter what the situation 100 times a game and just be like, all right, well, let's run this play. If anyone else is open, doesn't matter. I'm going to Waller.
The play was pretty much force feed Darren Waller. If he's not open, hit Alec Ingold in the flat for 3 yards.
Yes, or maybe Hunter. Hunter Renfro's a good fucking player.
He is, but when he gets tackled, he really gets tackled.
Do you know what
it's him? You remember how, like, when RG3 used to get hit, people would be like, oh, my God, his body just exploded?
Yeah.
That's what people do to Hunter Renfro.
Do you know what Hunter Renfro has? He has wiggle. Wiggle is actually a very important thing for wide receivers.
He's got some scoot.
Yeah, you need a little wiggle though. You need that little like where you can kind of fit into small places and then make moves that aren't exactly like they're not the fastest moves. You're not going to burn anyone, but you can. I don't know. It's something that a lot of great wide receivers have, that little bit of wiggle to them where they're not stiff and they're able to get into different spots, find the soft spots of a zone. But yeah, the Ravens blew that game and. The ending was insane. The fact that play, the touchdown play that ended the game, obviously Lamar Jackson's fumble kind of ended the game, but the touchdown play, that looked like it was, I thought there was going to be a flag, or it was, like a false start or something got whistled dead because the Ravens just gave up halfway through the play.
Yeah,
it was that easy of a touchdown.
The guy stopped because they were running cover zero. It was the old Greg Williams Jets defense against the Raiders that we saw last year. That's what they ran. He got burned on the back end, and he was just like, fuck it, game over.
You know what
I'm
it looked
tired.
like? It looked like when at the end of a baseball game, when they bring the infield in and they bring the outfield in, because they're like, all right, if there's a guy on third, if it's a long fly ball, we're fucked anyway. And the ball doesn't even land, and the guy's just already walking back to the dugout in left field.
It looked like if I was playing a game of pickup basketball, and I've been out there for longer than maybe 10 minutes, and then my guy hustles down the field or down the court one time, and they throw an outlet pass. I'm like, well, I'm not running for that.
No chance.
Fuck that shit.
All right, so let's talk about the other big thing from this game. The Manning cam.
Yes.
Was electric. I started with it. I went off of it because they actually, the first quarter, I thought it was a mess because Peyton was a little too... I don't know. He was just very high energy.
The Peyton was turned up to 11.
And they did the thing where it was like Peyton and Eli, 75% of the screen, the game, 25% of the screen.
Well, it was only a couple times when Peyton stood up and went to the board and then started diagramming shit. I think the problem was mostly in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They sat down and they were like, we've got all this stuff prepared that we want to talk about. Look, I'm going to put on this helmet and then I'm going to pretend, or I'm going to put on the John Gruden visor, pretend that I'm sending in calls and explain to Eli what they mean. But we don't need that. And so after the first quarter, when they got through all their prepped material and they just started talking.
It was awesome.
It was great. And when they brought Russell Wilson, they made Russell Wilson seem human at the end of the game. Credit to them. Russell Wilson brought the big Seahawks energy vibes to the end of that game, which was a Seahawks game.
Yes.
The ending of that game went full Seahawks at the end.
It was. And it was... I like by the second half, they had kind of found their rhythm and they had the game... The majority of the screen was the game, which was all I really wanted because that was the beginning. It was a mess, and it felt like you couldn't really watch the game. But at the end, it was just Peyton and Eli just talking ball, giving great insight. I do think Peyton Manning would be fantastic if he ever decided to actually commit to this and go into the booth. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was the rare double cast that actually kind of. They pulled it off. Yeah,
sometimes I like watching the coaches cast when they do that for some of the national championship games in football. When you get to see who's the guys being dudes guy from Colorado State,
Adazio.
Adazio. When you see him in a room trying to act like a human around other football coaches.
The fundamental problem with that versus what we watched last night is when you have the coaches or any kind of analyst who hasn't fully committed to being all right, I'm part of media. They never will actually tell you everything because the coaches are psychos and they're thinking the entire time, well, someday I'm going to be a head coach again and someone will watch this film and pick something up and I'm fucked. Whereas Peyton and Eli, I would assume that maybe they could be front office guys at some point, but they have a lot of money. Their legacies are completely secure, so they can kind of talk the thing when halftime, when they're halftime's bullshit. Yeah. Everyone thinks halftime adjustments are this crazy thing. The players, we go in, and by the time we get a drink of water, we're already going back out. I think obviously the coaches maybe can do a little, but he's the players, the idea that there's this big revelation and we change everything at halftime is just completely media fabricated.
I don't know why Peyton isn't in the booth right now because they definitely offered a bag to him when they saw what Romo was, when they lost out of the bidding war for Tony Romo. And, I guess they got RG3 in that bidding war, but they were probably thinking, all right, Peyton Manning, what is he worth right now? What do you think he'd be worth to get him in the booth? They'd probably pay him $20 million.
Probably.
To get it, him and Steve Levy, put them in the booth together, boom, then you're set for the next 15 years. But I think, does he just not want to travel?
I think it's probably travel. It's weird. Yeah, it is weird. I mean,
a lot of production meetings and shit too.
Yeah,
it's not just you can't just he can just show up for the live stream on Monday probably and do some prep for a couple hours and then do it versus Monday Night Football.
It's a good point
because a full week of prep and shit.
And you have to be very in tune with how the whole league is going and how everything is going on. It's true, and they basically were able to sit there and shoot the shit. I do love. I noted last night Peyton Manning, the way he talks with his fists makes it seem like he's punching the knowledge into our brains.
He gets excited.
Yeah, he wants to just grab you and tell you exactly what's going on, and I get excited watching him want to punch me in the face with knowledge.
He grabbed us by the face mask last night.
Yeah.
And he was like, listen, here's how it is. Here's how it's going to be. I did think it was very funny when he put that Ravens helmet on. That could not have been an adult-size helmet, right? That was a youth size.
Well, he's got a big forehead.
It has to be a youth size helmet.
Yeah.
Were you offended?
That I'm living rent-free in his head?
Yeah, so PFT tweeted, what was the exact tweet?
I think I tweeted, like, look at this helmet. Somebody, can we get Peyton a prescription helmet for this giant dome? And then they brought it up on the broadcast. It was good to be back on ESPN too.
Yes.
That's definitely a goal of mine. But then
a little earlier too.
Peyton started roasting me for
More
my
airtime.
spelling,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey Peyton, listen, I know in your family your wife probably spells out the word prescription more than you do. Mm-hmm. I can spell HGH.
Ooh.
How about that one?
All right, so Peyton's not coming back on. It was funny that people were like,
well, he's like, I
can't
got to
believe
meet this guy.
Yeah, they're like, how does Peyton not know? Like, PFT, they had him on. It's like, well, listen, sometimes when we have guests on, it's their 20 minutes and they never think about us ever again, which is totally fine. Peyton Manning has he doesn't owe us anything. Mm-hmm. I think if we had interviewed him in person, maybe he would have been able to, like, oh, I know that guy.
But it was also my avatar that was brought up, so it wasn't like a picture of me. I would actually be upset if Peyton Manning knew who I was.
Eli might.
Eli probably, yeah.
Maybe.
He's got the Barstool app on his phone, remember?
Yeah. Right next to the fart app.
Yeah.
Right? He's a big fart guy. But yeah, it was great. I think sometimes people think that we just shit on things for fun, Jake. You do. You think we give
the Buddy Boeheim thing. We'll get to that a little later in the show.
We give our real opinions, and my real opinion was the first quarter was a mess, and then once they all settled down, I really, really enjoyed it.
I thought it was great. I hope that they don't resort to gimmicks in future broadcasts. I hope they just put them in a room, get them in the room together, put them on the same couch, and then have Olivia come in with Rice Krispie treats every now and again. Be like, what can I get you boys? Anything?
And they didn't. The guests were good. They don't really need the guests.
No.
Honestly, they don't need the guests. I thought Ray Lewis was okay, fine. But it's just weird because it kind of screws up the flow. I also really enjoyed the fact they call each other E and P.
Yeah, that was good.
That was cute.
If you're going to bring in a guest, I almost think you should bring in a guest for the entire game, not just bring them in, bring them out, because they had Barkley. Barkley's fine. I love Charles Barkley. No one hates Charles Barkley.
He had 500,000 on the Raiders.
Yep, and then Charles Barkley looks thin, by the way.
I think he black jersey.
He also bought a large jersey.
Yeah, it was a black
I think it was
jersey.
a couple sizes too big.
Yeah.
And then Ray Lewis was who Ray Lewis is. He makes sense half the time, but even when he's not making sense, he inspires you.
Yes.
And then Travis Kelce dropped the shit bomb, and then Russell Wilson, I thought, was really good at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So although it was very funny when they threw that interception from the 4-yard line.
Yes.
At the end of the game, and then they just kind of.
Well, there's two moments.
Yeah.
They were on the goal line, and it was like, are they going to bring it up? Are they going to bring it up? And then also Russell Wilson accidentally brought up the Super Bowl against the Broncos, and Peyton just had to sit there and just eat it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was that's what we need is we need guys who beat them or they had some kind of great moment against them and just see if it can get awkward.
Yeah. I also thought that just strictly on the field stuff at the end of the game, Derek Carr's interview after the game. That was great. Derek Carr has a personality. I got to experience Russell Wilson and Derek Carr in their most likable forms last night.
Yep.
Did not see that coming.
I didn't see the interview.
Do you know what it also is about Derek Carr?
He's got
I
hair now.
Yeah, he's got hair now. He dyed his hair. He's got more hair. And I also think it's his tattoo. His tattoo is the most basic. He's got some kind of symbol on his wrist.
Pie?
I don't know what it is.
No, it looks like Fight's Sad Boy season kind of.
And maybe Prince's logo.
Yeah.
Something there.
I think it's just a cross.
Is it? But there's something
there's
something
else to it.
It's like a cool cross.
It's like whatever.
J-Man's on it?
Yeah, it's if Zach Brown Band came up with a symbol like Prince for themselves.
And they put it on
Derek Carr would have.
And they put it on jeans.
Yes.
That's exactly what he has on his wrist.
I don't like his helmet. Did you notice his helmet? It's got 20 holes in the side.
Oh, those are the new helmets.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, those are new helmets. I've seen a bunch of players have those.
It's what is that for? To breathe more? Or
I think so.
Is it Cam Newton cuts holes in the tops of his hats now? So
yes.
Derek Carr's trying to put his braid his hair into tiny little pieces and put it through.
I've seen that. I've seen a bunch of guys have that. So I think that is the new helmet technology.
It's a religious marking.
What is it?
On his right wrist, he has a depiction of Cairo, which is one of the earliest symbols used by Christians.
Okay. Because get a tattoo. I mean, I hope to someday have a tattoo, so I'm not going to hate on it. But I also saw it and was like, maybe that's part of why I don't trust Derek Carr.
Yeah, the forearm tattoo thing is a real thing for quarterbacks.
Yeah,
but if
no, it's not forearm. It's wrist.
It's wrist/forearm.
Yeah, right.
If you're gonna choose an ancient religious symbol to get tattooed on your arm, I would go with Christian over Hindu.
Yeah,
in that
Kygo.
circumstance.
He should make a Kygo tattoo on the other one and just have him DJ every Vegas game. Is Kygo still alive? He is, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Who's Kygo?
Cool. He's a good DJ. Really good
dude.
DJ. Bro, you're so old.
Shout out Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Max Crosby is a fucking monster.
And Carl Nassib for getting he had the fumble, right?
He forced the fumble.
Yeah, the
at the
Raiders
end of the
defense
game.
played well.
They played really well, but Max Crosby is a fucking monster. His arms, I don't know if his arms grew in the offseason or if they've always been that long, but that dude is terrifying.
Maction.
How quickly he gets from 0 to 60 is insane on defense.
Yeah, Maction, baby. All right, let's talk some college football. Then we're going to do hot seat, cool throne. USC has fired Clay Helton. I kind of like that the guy they should have fired 2 years ago, they finally were like, you know what, enough is enough. We can't let you try to find a way to win your way out of this.
Or at least fire him this offseason, and now you just... you could have picked your coach. You could have gotten on the phone with Urban Meyer if you fired him.
COVID. He did. It's actually Clay Helton is not a good coach, but a great lesson in being able to keep your job for way past when you should have had it. Like he had the ADs switched. Lynn Swan left or maybe got fired, whatever. And so he got the new AD came in right when it was a weird time to fire him. Then he won he beat Notre Dame that one year. Then COVID. He basically had just a string of great luck where they just forgot that they probably should have fired him, and now they finally fired him.
USC is definitely one of those jobs that I think me and you could look at whoever they're thinking about hiring, not really know anything about their background, and just look at the person and be able to say this person will succeed at USC.
James Franklin.
You have to be hot.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. You have to be relatively hot for a football coach.
I actually think you can think you're hot.
Sure, yeah.
You don't even have to be hot. You have to think James Franklin thinks he is hot.
But that's fine. You can even be so ugly that you're hot, like Adam Driver.
Yep.
You just have to have that hotness about you.
Yes, and we were joking about it. We did today a photo commercial shoot that's going to come out. I don't know when, but it'll be awesome when it does. But there is kind of a little chance that Urban Meyer could pull a Bobby Petrino.
Oh, for sure.
And if shit gets bad halfway through the season, be like, all right, I'm out. USC, you want to drop the bag? Let's go back to coaching college.
I kind of hope that he does.
I do
It
too.
would be so funny if he
awesome.
did. Because if the Jaguars start, I'll even say if they start 2-7, there's a 50% chance that Urban Meyer leaves for USC.
Yes.
If it's 0-6, yeah, I think it's pretty likely.
It's funny too because USC loses their head coach in the same weekend of basically the Pac-12 having their biggest win in forever with Oregon beating Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Ryan Day punting from the 33 is something that will never get out of my head. But huge win for Oregon. That was colossal. And they actually have a path now to the college football playoff, which the Pac-12 has been left out of for many years.
And it's all that we want. We talk about it. I think you were the first person I heard bring it up last year, maybe it was 2 years ago. It's just good to get different colors in the college football playoff. And now we're going to have green, yellow, white, maybe.
It's early.
Maybe
it's very early.
It's early.
It's very early.
But the path is there.
Yes. No,
and you know what else is there? The path for Ohio State to get back in the playoff over an undefeated Cincinnati. We get that steak dinner to Kirk.
Yes. And what also is there is it to just be the usual colors and actually make it even more boring of Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State if they get back in, and Oklahoma.
Oh, God. That's just different reds.
Red.
Fuck that.
Doesn't this make the Big Ten the new Pac-12 though? They just have no.
The alliance. They're all the alliance.
No, I mean it was a big win for Oregon, but Ohio State is not going to Ohio State has problems right now, but they're not.
Their defense couldn't stop anything.
Yeah, but they're not problems that are going to take Ohio State down for the next 5 years.
But what about this season?
This season
I wouldn't be surprised if they lose 4 games.
No,
4 games.
Well, that's because you haven't looked at their schedule. They actually won't. I mean, they play Penn State. They don't play Iowa or Wisconsin from the West. They probably will run the table, and then we'll be back in this conversation in December being like, how can you leave a one-loss Ohio State team out because the Oregon loss happened so far in the background? Because remember, when they won the national title, I want to say they lost to Virginia Tech. in that week 2 game, I want to say. So there's precedent there.
If Ohio State loses 4 games, I won't watch football
they won't.
next year.
They will not.
Right.
They will not.
Bet.
You want to bet it? Okay.
Yeah, PFT.
Well,
All right.
what
I'll
are you
take
going to
that
give
bet.
up?
Yeah, what are you going to give up?
Yeah.
If Ohio State, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty crazy odds for me, but I am the plus sign king.
Virginia
Week
Tech?
2, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so
by
there it is.
14.
So, like, by the time we get to the end of the season,
I won't watch 1 quarter of football next year.
Get a cat.
no.
PFT can't watch for the whole year. I'll do the first.
No, how about
quarter
this? You
of
have to
next
watch.
year.
You have to watch football with sunglasses on all year next
I
year.
like
for
it.
one game for one
no,
day.
for
whole
the year.
No.
He doesn't get to watch football at
It's
all.
4 games.
Literally, the podcast is over.
It's 4 games.
I can still listen to it.
Yeah, that's true. The podcast is done
Get in the radio, yeah.
if Ohio State loses 4 games.
I mean, that's a insane bet.
Not
right,
counting,
all right,
not
hey,
counting bowl
one-
and
No,
Big
here's
Ten championship,
what it
right?
is. I
It's
won't-
regular season.
Here- no,
No,
here's
4
what it
games
is.
total.
I
What?
want
Oh no, that
4 games total.
That could possibly.
4 games total.
That could happen.
I'll give you 4 games total.
Okay.
If they lose 4 games, I will not watch football for the first month of the next NFL season. If they do lose, or if they don't lose 4 games, you have to wear sunglasses for the playoffs
I like it.
and Super Bowl
I like it.
and Pro Bowl.
I like it. And Pro Bowl.
No,
Yeah.
the odds that's insane odds.
All right, fine. Here's what
That's
it is.
also a
All
month.
right, here it is.
That's worse than
You
the
said
first
you
one.
wouldn't be surprised.
You're right. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I
being
think
a
this is
little
fair.
facetious.
If Ohio State loses 4 games, PFT will not watch a single second of NFL football in the month of September next year. If Ohio State loses less than 4 games, you can't watch week 1.
All right. Bet.
All right? You can't
Bet.
watch any game in week 1.
Bet.
Okay.
Okay.
College football.
Does that
Or
include
all
the
football.
bowl?
No, we're talking NFL.
It does include the bowl. All right, Jake. Mark it down.
Oh, does it? I'm asking.
It does include the bowl.
does include the
No,
bowl.
I would say for this one, since your
Postseason.
stakes are so low,
Big Ten
yeah,
championship and
Big,
Yeah.
It's
Big
4
Ten cha-
losses
no,
for Ohio State.
Big
When was the
Ten
last time they lost
championship
4
counts.
games in a season?
True.
Bowl game
Like,
does
what are we
not
talking
count.
about?
Big
Bowl game
Ten
counts. No.
Big Ten counts.
think-
Bowl game doesn't.
Bowl game counts. When was the
Meet
last
me in
time
the
Ohio
middle,
State?
Hank.
No, absolutely not.
All right, Mr. Little Facetious.
All right.
You're
so
already
bowl
backing
game
out.
bowl game does count.
Yes.
Okay. You got to also PFT. Don't worry. Like I think it's only 3 weeks because they've changed September.
they went
Okay,
6 and
good.
7 in 2011.
That was Luke Fickle, right?
So
Yeah.
Lost
Luke
the Gators in the Gator Bowl.
Luke Fickle, he seems to be the guy that everybody's talking about for USC.
Yeah, because the AD for USC was
Yep.
the AD at Cincinnati.
And every time a job like this comes open, we have to have the debate. We're contractually obligated to discuss what is the best job in college football.
Correct.
Is USC a top job in college football?
Yes.
I think USC might be a coach killer. The
No.
university itself might be a coach killer.
I think USC is a top job, top 3 job. Maybe, yeah, top 3 job.
What would you put above it?
That's tough. Alabama just right now because of like everything that they've done.
Don't say Texas.
No, I'm not. I would probably say like Florida maybe, just because of the it's in-state recruiting. Like, can you just basically roll out of bed
Yeah.
and get 5-star guys? And yes, that's true for USC and that's true for Florida.
I think that Texas is the best job to be wanted for, but not to have.
Yeah. But USC is absolutely a top job because the talent is crazy there, and they are the big dog in their conference. Obviously, Oregon has maybe changed that.
Are you going to say it, or am I going to say it?
What?
Jeff Fisher?
Yeah,
It's
he
coming
did
home.
play there. He did play there.
He did. He's got ties.
Other news in Iowa looks awesome, and my other note was Arkansas. That crowd was amazing. I want to get Sam Pittman on the podcast. I think we will get Sam Pittman on the podcast. He's a very great college football character. Yes, sir.
A&M, is that the worst win of week 2?
Well, they did lose their quarterback.
Yeah, but
so that had a
still,
lot to do with it.
They looked weird. They
Yeah.
looked like a team that should not be as highly ranked as they are.
That was I'm going to put that up to the quarterback because when you lose your quarterback in like the first quarter, it kind of changes everything, especially in college if you have no like competent backup. But yeah, college football, I don't know. We'll see. I do think Wisconsin, after watching Notre Dame play Toledo, I think Wisconsin might be back.
All right.
Yeah, so my heart will be ripped out again.
Love it.
I'm ready to
I can't-
buy back in.
Well, it's not going to be suicidal Big Cat until you need to string together a few wins at least.
It would be so incredible if it was Ohio State versus Wisconsin, the Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State had 3 losses going in.
Oh my God, fuck that.
I don't know how they. I don't think it mathematically could work unless they lose to like one
it's
of these
possible.
terrible teams.
It's definitely possible.
But holy shit, would that be incredible?
I hope
even
that
if they had
doesn't
2 wins
I don't
and
know.
Wisconsin beat them.
I honestly don't know why I opened my big mouth.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I heard 4 wins come from Hank, and I was just like
4 losses. Yeah.
4 losses, and I was like, that's fugazi.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Hot Seat Cool Throne. Hot Seat Cool Throne is brought to you by our friends at Coors Light, the greatest beer ever created. That's a fact. Coors Light is our favorite. What do you do when you're always on? What do you do when you need a moment to chill? You crack open a nice cold Coors Light. There's only one beer out there that's literally made to chill, and that's Coors Light. The mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold. That way, you always know when it's time to chill. When you need to hit reset, just open a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged. It is literally made to chill. So, Coors Light, the one you choose when you need to unwind, when you want to reset, reach for that beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light in the new look, delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Thank you to Coors Light. We love you, Coors Light. Hank, Hot Seat Cool Throne.
My hot seat for the second week in a row is myself. This might just be a new weekly segment. Just me fucking up F1 news. I said it was a big week for Aston Martin because Daniel Ricciardo won.
McLaren.
He's not on Aston Martin. He's a driver for McLaren. So once again,
that's okay.
I'm sorry.
What percentage of our audience do you think really picked up on that?
A lot.
Like, hey, that's not true.
For the second week in a row, I woke up on Monday to people being like, "You fucking idiot."
F1 fans are they're very passionate. Any passionate fan base that you can, piss off in any way. Yeah. So.
My bad. Congrats to Aston Martin.
But Hank, that's how we improve, by making mistakes and learning.
You just
from
did it
them.
again.
I always screw up the name of the millionaire's son.
It's the M. I knew it was an M.
The shithead that shouldn't
Stroll,
be driving.
Lance Stroll.
It's either Stroll or it's the other guy.
Yeah.
And then my cool throne is award show season.
Oh.
The Met Gala was Monday night.
That's my hot seat.
I had that too.
And then
let's talk about it then.
And then the Emmys are coming up this weekend, so it's that time of year. Although usually this is not the time of year for Met Gala.
Emmys, don't care.
Yeah, VMAs was last weekend
VMAs,
too.
hot.
Really
Oscars, I'm in for. What else? What's the other one? Oh, the Grammys. Grammys are the good one. Anything with live music. So my hot seat was going to be the Met Gala because for the 10 millionth year in a row, I still don't understand what happens at the Met Gala.
Right.
I know they take a bunch of pictures outside. AOC, your queen, Hank. Tax the rich.
Tough luck for her.
Tax the rich. It's like the richest group of people ever. But what do they do inside?
I don't think there is an inside. I think it's just they walk into the building and then they just like have a drink and they're like, I can't believe that these people think
They all
that
just
there's
go
something
inside
going
and
on.
like check the pictures.
And
Yeah,
then their
exactly.
car swoops around and picks them up on the back.
Yeah.
From the back end. I think that's it. Yeah, either that or it's like Bohemian Grove where it's just rich people getting together in a room just to get drunk away from cameras.
Yes.
Because you have to take those chances any way that you can get them when you're like at that level of fame.
Is there music? Is there art?
I know
Is
there's
there-
bathrooms.
There's bathrooms.
They always
Thank you.
take bathroom
It's just,
selfies.
Thank
it's just a
you.
giant line for
There
the
we
bathroom.
go.
That's all the Met Gala
That's
is.
big.
The Met Gala might also. It's one of those things that just exists for people to get mad at.
Yeah.
The usefulness of the Met Gala is for us to look at people who are at the Met Gala and for us to be like, oh my God, the Met Gala looks so lame. I would never go.
Who's
Yeah.
your favorite look?
Kim Kardashian, because I aspire to just wear that much black and look that skinny. She did it on her face too.
Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo falling
Again.
down the stairs.
I thought Jack Black looked pretty good.
Nope. They were kissing with masks on. Lib.
Safety, yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. Machine Gun Kelly.
Travis Barker. Megan Fox.
All of them. The whole squad looked good. Conor McGregor
Kardashian.
throwing drinks at people.
That was VMAs.
Yeah, I know. We're just combining them
Okay, same event.
now. What were you going to say, Billy? I like how, Billy, we're building like a house. We got the bathrooms done. What else is there?
I think they're just doing drugs in the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. that
It's
makes
just
sense.
a bunch of stalls.
How'd you know
go in.
that drugs get done in the bathroom?
Wasn't there like some selfie and there's like drugs everywhere?
Interesting.
Probably.
Okay.
I did see Tyler, our old colleague Tyler Trill Withers, ask what happens at the Met, and then most of the replies were just like, very good cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you can probably get those celebrities in town if you're just like, hey, this shit's
Some party designer drugs.
99%
Yeah.
pure Colombian.
Yeah. All right. Hot seat, cool throw, and PFT.
All right. Well, I was going to do Met Gala too, but instead I'll call an audible. My hot seat is just my brain in general, because obviously I have to deal with Taylor Heineke on Thursday night. I have to get mentally prepared, talk myself into why I want to watch that game. But then I had a thought last night, and I'm almost ashamed to have thought it, but I'm even more ashamed to now kind of be agreeing with that take that I had, which is I wouldn't hate Mitch Trubisky on the football team.
No, he's
at
good.
this point.
That's not a bad take. That's not even a crazy take.
I don't think it is anymore. I thought I was nuts when I thought it last night, but
No.
I slept on it.
He's better than Taylor Heineke.
And he might be
is.
better than Taylor Heineke.
He absolutely
What
is.
about Cam?
Well, I trust in Analytical Ron, because he did not invite Cam Newton to come try out for the team when he was a free agent last year, and Ron would know as much as anybody about whether or not Cam Newton would be a good fit on that team.
Listen, Mitch obviously had his problems. He did go to the playoffs twice, and I know that the defense was the main driver of that, but he can do things that don't fuck you up.
I like how we're rehabilitating Mitch Trubisky.
No, I'm
like George W. Bush.
No, someone said that to me last night. They're like, the Giants fans are going through what you went through with Mitch, and I'm like, I feel like it's a lot easier to walk away from Daniel Jones than a guy who, even though for all the problems you had, you still went to the playoffs twice, so it makes it a little bit more difficult in your brain. But yeah, no, Mitch absolutely.
He looked good in
Yes.
that game against
Yes.
the Bears.
Yes.
He looked like a starting quarterback. So I've thought about that. I also heard that Fitzpatrick's out for 6 to 8 weeks now. There's maybe the most local sports radio talk show news of all time. My friend JP Finley in DC had a caller call in who was like a lifeguard at a local water park that said that Ryan Fitzpatrick actually hurt his hip earlier in the week at the water park going down the slide.
Oh, wow.
Probably maybe 1% chance of
I'd say
it being
not
true. But yeah, I'm in a bad place right now. I'm trying to recover from last weekend because, as I've said, the season's over. But with Mitch, maybe not.
I forgot to tell you, he texted me and said that he wanted to tell you that he's okay.
Oh, really?
Yes, he said he's SOF, sore as fuck.
Did he give a thumbs up?
I said, how are you doing? And I said, if you thumbs down my question, I will call an ambulance.
Okay.
And then he said, I'm sore as fuck.
Sore as fuck.
Yeah, but that would have been funny if I asked him how he's doing and he just thumbs down the message.
But he did say he's okay.
Yes, he said he's okay. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yes.
All right. Also, I crapped my pants last week. Anyways, Cool Throne.
It happens.
My Cool Throne.
It's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah, it just
happens.
It was.
Where?
in his pants.
In my underwear.
Yeah.
Where
It
were
was
you?
localized around my butthole.
Where were you, like, geographically?
On my couch.
Yeah.
I was
So
on my
that's,
couch.
That's like not even an issue. That's like all right. Well, let's go change this.
Any skitties on
It's like
the couch?
changing your diaper.
No
yeah.
I wasn't raw dogging the couch with my butt, Hank.
Well, I don't
What
know.
do you think I
Seeps
am?
through sometimes.
A couch? No.
Leakage.
I was wearing a normal full. I was wearing a full kit, underwear, pants, the whole 9 yards. Farted. Fart felt weird. Went to the bathroom. Checked. Bad news bears.
Totally normal activity.
Totally normal.
I've been normalizing it for years.
So
no one should. It's one a year, no
We
problem.
reset the counter on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, I've taken enough space on this hot seat cool throne, I think, with my problems.
Okay. My hot seat, I already did the hot seat with the Met Gala. My cool throne is Matt Nagy because he is doing McDonald's ads now. So good for him.
All right. I
Good
love
for
it.
him. And also he has the entire national media somehow. I don't know what he fucking has on everyone. But Schefter, I like Schefter.
Nice guy.
Leave it at that.
Nice guy.
Let's leave it at that before I say something that will be mean and mean-spirited.
I don't want to discount
What did he do
your
that's
anger,
pro
Big
Matt
Cat.
Nagy?
I don't want to discount what you're feeling right now because feelings are never wrong. But I haven't been getting the same vibe from you from the national media that you.
Did you see the Schefter thing?
Is it possible that you're seeking out this stuff to get mad at?
I mean, it was watching Monday Night Football countdown. Schefter said they have a plan. They don't want to ruin him before he's ready. Look through the list of guys that have sat behind someone. Tom Brady.
Don't say he said Aaron Rodgers.
He said Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Those were his three guys.
And Aaron Rodgers fucking hates the Packers now because they sat him.
And he was behind Brett Favre.
Right.
So yes, I like you might think I'm seeking out, but it's not. I'm not. It's all been Collinsworth because I was watching the Bears and Schefter because I was watching Monday Night Countdown. I do think that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace somehow have something on certain members of the national media where they're going out and just basically giving their speech for they have mouthpieces.
Because most people that I've seen in the national media
those two guys.
You have to acknowledge the fact that Justin Fields is a better quarterback.
Correct.
Andy
The players
Dalton,
know.
Nice guy, right?
Dude, David Montgomery said Justin Fields has aura.
There you go.
That right there tells me that everyone in that locker room wants him playing.
Well, I do think that we're getting close to the point where Matt Nagy's going to lose credibility with his team if he doesn't play Justin Fields.
He's already lost it. He's a moron. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to be mean. I don't want to have another like Jake be like, Shefty's a nice guy.
Oh, Big Cat, I've also seen that you and I have been fighting a war on two fronts on Twitter for the last couple days against Kirk Cousins fans.
Yeah.
It's something. You guys, I'm just telling you, I've been there. I'm not saying anything about Kirk Cousins to be mean. He was a very nice guest when he came on Part of My Take.
Very nice guy.
We really liked having him on the show. But I'm trying to help you out if you're a diehard Kirk Cousins fan and you're looking at the box score after a game and be like, look, he threw for 300 yards. He's good.
Oh, the offensive line is bad, even though he has like maybe some of the best weapons in all of the NFL.
I've said all these things before about Kirk Cousins.
I actually think there's a lot of people that agree with us. It's just like I love arguing online about football because it's just fun.
It is.
You can argue for an entire morning and nothing gets decided one way or the other. But there was a moment where I was like 3 or 4 arguments deep, and then I looked at the guy and he had 0 followers and didn't follow me, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So that was all right, let's walk away from this. But I do have fun. I like it. I honestly enjoy mixing it up on Twitter. I do think that like there are certain people in the media who don't mix it up on Twitter, and you can tell that they like don't want to get in the mud sometimes and like, talk to people, chop it up.
Talking about Kirk Cousins though it's a really interesting subject for me because he's definitely He's one of those ink tests that you can look at and you can convince yourself that what you saw was good.
Yeah, it's the dress.
But for me, and I think for a lot of people, it gets tiring doing that after every single game. And eventually you have to be like, maybe it is Kirk after all.
And he's had some moments.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, Jake, go.
Hot seat's the SEC. So the conference fined Arkansas. You were talking about the game earlier. $100,000 for storming the field. I don't get that. You should be celebrating.
Yeah, they just don't want to get anyone like safety wise.
Yeah, but if you pull off an upset win at home, you have to.
Yeah, no,
be willing to.
I think they'll happily pay for that
Right.
fine anytime they do something like that on Saturday night.
Did they? Maybe it's not for storming. Maybe the fans, somebody in the crowd, did horns down.
No, for sure. That would be a crazy fine for horns down.
Yeah.
And then cool throw him. Paul Rabel calls it a career. Retires. So the GOAT. There's a lot of MJ versus LeBron, Brady and Peyton. It's Paul Rabel and Paul
Session
Rabel.
Tandikar.
So is he going to keep the league that he created just so he could keep playing alive?
I believe the PLL will move on to your
championship on Sunday.
Yeah,
right,
let's go.
Whips
Fuck
versus
the whip
chaos.
All right,
snakes.
Paul
Fuck
Rabel,
the whip snakes.
the goat in my mind.
Yep.
End of the discussion. Billy.
Hot seat, all of us. Did anyone pay attention to Marcus Mariota at the beginning of the game? I think
Yeah,
it
he
was
broke his
crazy.
hip. I think he broke his shoulder actually.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, we just
when he got up, he looked woozy. I didn't know if
No,
it
I
was a
think
shoulder.
it
if
looked like a shoulder.
He might have had a
yeah,
concussion
so,
too.
Maybe a rib.
we
Rib,
all
I was
watched-
going to say.
Yeah.
we all watched an amazing game, and none of us paid attention to what happened in the very beginning.
All right, bro,
So
football doc.
we
What's your
should
diagnosis?
check it out. Banged up.
Okay.
My
Upper body.
upper body injury. My cool throne is mammoths. They're back. They're bringing them back. This has been said a couple times, but there's a new startup that's actually gotten funding, $1.5 million, and
I
apparently
think it's 15 million.
Yeah, no, it's 1.5.
That's a steal for a mammoth.
That's
yeah.
that.
I don't
that
know
to
why-
Me
It's
It's not a
seems-
lot of funding.
I didn't know if it was that
It's
cheap.
gonna be a fucked up mammoth
15
that's gonna
million.
need braces. and
15
shit.
million. That's decent.
Apparently, it's supposed to solve global warming somehow.
What's
Oh.
the mammoth going to do?
I like
I
this.
have no idea.
Eat carbon?
This is good.
They're releasing them in the
Reanimating extinct creatures is going to save us.
It is bullshit that we're going through all this trouble for a mammoth, and we still haven't had a billionaire that's put his nuts on the table and made Jurassic Park yet.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Jeff Bezos, can you just make a fucking mammoth?
Do it.
Dinosaurs?
Do it. He has dinosaur bone. Doesn't he have that like dinosaur bone in his house? Like a huge.
That's Nick Cage.
No, Nick Cage has skulls.
He has a T-Rex.
He has a skull. Yeah, he has skulls everywhere. He drinks out of skulls. All right. Thanks, Billy. Let's do Carmelo Anthony. Before we do that, PFT, you got a quick word?
Yeah, before we get to Carmelo, I want to talk to you guys about MeUndies. We're changing over from short season to soup season. When soup season starts, that means I'm wearing jeans, I'm wearing pants. I gotta start wearing underwear again because I don't have the MeUndies. I don't have the bird dogs with built-in lining. So now I'm rocking MeUndies every day. Got them on right now. MeUndies is the best. Honestly, it's time to replace your water intake with pumpkin spice lattes and go out of your way to step on a crunchy leaf because it's fall, and in fall, it's time to find your comfort in undies, loungewear, and more with MeUndies. There's no better time than right now to switch out your underwear drawer. Get rid of all the old pairs of underwear that you have, the stuff you've been putting off throwing away, the pairs of underwear that might have tears in the waistband, that might be a little raggedy. Maybe you wore them last week when you were sitting on the couch and you had to throw them away. Anyways, it's time to get rid of all those old pairs of underwear. Bring in a full drawer of MeUndies. You will thank me later. It is the softest thing that you've ever felt. Imagine that same soft thing that you can imagine, the softest thing you could ever feel, but it's on your butt. You're now thinking about MeUndies. They're designed by the country's top softness scientists to be the softest thing that you've ever worn, period. They've also got a great offer for our listeners. For any first-time purchasers, 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also has their problem-free philosophy. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they will refund it or they'll exchange it. No caveats, no questions. To get 15% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/take. That's MeUndies.com/take. Now here is Carmelo Anthony.
Okay, we now welcome on a very, very, very special guest. Future Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star, 3-time gold medalist, Carmelo Anthony.
American hero.
American hero.
I like that. I like the American hero.
I mean, this is a good. Yeah, I mean, it is a very, very special guest. There's very few guests that get the 3 verys when I introduce them, and you definitely deserve it. So, Melo's got a new book out. It is called Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised, a memoir of survival and hope. Go buy it. It is about his, childhood up until going to Syracuse, that decision process. So let's start with that. Let's start with the book.
Yep.
Going through it, like reliving everything. Was there a moment that you went back and looked at and you're like, okay, this is where everything could have changed. This is the fork in the road moment that my life could have taken a totally different path than it did to everything we just said. 3-time gold medalist, American hero.
It was first of all, peace to everybody out there. It was a moment when I was writing the book and I'm just like, damn, I really survived this.
Right.
And it's a lot of things that I couldn't make the book, so it might be like some behind the scenes or an offshoot of the actual book that I'll do. But it was just that moment. I was like 13, 14, and I was losing everybody, his friends and family, and I was asking my question, why me? Why are these things happening to me at the end of the day? And I just knew I was going left. I felt it. I was on my way going left. I started doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And I just I wasn't rebellious. It was just like a 13, 14-year-old, you got to figure it out. And I had to make a hard decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you were in Baltimore and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do for your next step, I know a lot of people probably wanted you to go to College Park, stay local. I'm sure that was a conversation that a few people had with you.
Facts.
The ACC at the time, there was probably some strong pull from North Carolina, Duke, you name it, all those schools. You decided to go to Syracuse. What went into the thought process for why you felt that Syracuse was the best place for you to go at that time?
Well, I was always a Big East fan. Growing up, I was always a Big East fan, and my family, living in New York and Red Hook, my family was St. John's diehards. You walk in my uncle's house, God bless his soul, you walk in his house, it's all St. John's. So that's all I knew was St. John's, and you watch Knicks games and you watch St. John's games, and Giants games. That was it. And I used to always say, man, I got to play in the Big East. I have to play in the Big East. And as I got older, the Big East was the best conference in the country at that point in time. And Syracuse came, and I was like, it was something about that Carrier Dome, 30,000.
Mm-hmm. No AC.
No AC.
Yeah. Never lost to the Carrier Dome.
I never lost to the Carrier Dome. That's something that people don't talk about a lot.
Yeah, I know that you're proud of that. And we actually had Jim Calhoun on the show about a month ago, and we talked about how awesome the Big East used to be. Never losing at the Carrier Dome is a big time accomplishment.
The Big East was special.
Those tournaments that they'd have sometimes where like at the height of the Big East, when it was just physical basketball. You had all the best teams in the Big East, like all at the peak of their powers at the same time. To me, I liked watching that tournament more than I liked watching the NCAA tournament because it felt like there was actual bad blood between those teams.
Well, in the Big East, right, I would say, like when you compare conferences, I'm talking about back then. The ACC had rivals. We all know Duke, Carolina. You know, we know those rivals. In the Big East, you know the rivals, and you feel that every single time you go out there and play. Syracuse, Georgetown. You said Calhoun, Syracuse, UConn, Syracuse, St. John's, Syracuse, Seton Hall, Boston College, Providence. Like these games was Rutgers. You know, Syracuse, Rutgers games.
Georgetown.
Like I said, Georgetown. But it was like when you really get a sense of what a rivalry is, the Big East had it.
Yeah, and you had basically the perfect college career in that you went for 1 year. You won the first national title for Syracuse. Jim Boeheim, everything that's perfect, best player in the country. Did you? I remember reading at the time, and I've seen stories about it that you actually wanted to stay, and Jim Boeheim was like, "No, you're not staying." Was that real? Was that real that you actually wanted to stay?
That's a fact.
You just loved it that much?
Boeheim told me to get my ass off the campus. He don't want to see me no more. I bet not be back on campus. But it was, I was explaining this to somebody on the way here. I wanted to go back because at the time when we started to win, like that March, April, we won the championship, to go back on campus. I was just starting to like get my feet wet on campus.
Right.
The weather was changing. First of all, it's 20 inches of snow every day in Syracuse. So the weather started to change. That's when the school started to blossom.
Right.
So you seeing people, the bars is open, the quad is popping, the student center is popping. So I started to be a student again.
Big man on campus.
Big man on campus, a student, not a basketball player. So I started to experience it from the regular student's perspective. So I started going to frat parties and shit. I started hanging with like regular students. And I was just enjoying myself.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why you would want to go back, especially after a run like that. And you're right, like upstate New York in the spring, in the summer, it's nice, and it makes you forget about what it's going to be like. Because you would have gone back,
and I'd have regretted. I'd have been sick.
You would have been so pissed off, and you would have seen where you would have gone in the draft, and you would just be like looking at your bank account, like,
yeah, I'd have been sick.
What am I doing? Sick. I should have listened to coach. So when you're at Syracuse, I'm a big fan of the zone defense at Syracuse. Just how it will suck the life out of us, how it just confuses people that are prepared all week for it sometimes. When you're playing in that zone defense, can you tell, like in a moment, if like the zone is too big for your opponent, if they're feeling like they're overmatched and just like almost super confused and it's not going to work for them?
Yeah, because, I mean, Boeheim been running the zone for 82 years, so it's like everybody, if you haven't figured the zone out by now, you're not going to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
But as much as I say that, a lot of people haven't figured it out. And when I was there, it's funny because we never practiced the zone. Like in practice, we was man to man until like a day or two before the game or something like that. And then we would practice. We never practiced the zone. We would practice our region on the court.
Okay.
So you just had to know your region on the court and protect your region. And when you're outside of your region because something happens.
Right.
Something going to happen on your side or whatever. But the zone was just, people just talk about the zone. All Syracuse do is play the zone. But it was effective. Why would you change it?
Yeah, of course. Hakeem work in the block like that.
If we wasn't in the zone, we would have got that block.
That to me is like the perfect zone. Like you got a bunch of guys who are super tall, long, and they just disrupt every shot no matter
and
where
I think
it is.
what made us special that year was we were long on the wings. Hakeem was on one side, I was on one side. We had Quef Dewaney up top, who's 6'5", 6'6". We had Jerry McNamara up there. We had a 7-footer in the paint. So we were, we was getting to our region. We was closing out. If you could shoot, we was taking that away from you. So to answer your question, yes, it was times where we would play teams and we'd be like, okay, they're not gonna figure it out.
They don't want to fuck with the zone tonight.
They're not tonight.
The zone came to play.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it's some nights would be like, fuck this zone.
Well, if you shoot, right. If you're shooting well.
But It was a couple. It was only like one team like who figured the zone out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was Calhoun.
Yeah, it's crazy that like when you can figure out the zone looks like the worst defense ever.
For sure.
It seems so easy. Like get a guy on the baseline,
get a guy in the middle,
get a guy in the middle, shoot some threes, and you're like, wait, this is easy, but it's obviously a lot harder said than done.
I like the way you described it. It's like it's a man-to-man defense, but inside of regions. That's like a really granular
it's a
way
matchup.
To look at the zone.
It's a man-to-man zone, but you just play in your region, and you just know, not to let somebody get behind you on the baseline. We know what's going to happen. If the guy in the middle gets it, we collapse. Everybody stay home. Shooters. So we had it figured out, and then we used to throw our own little tricks into the zone. We used to cheat it a little bit. We used to test you out, but that was like amongst the players that we talked about.
So you go from Syracuse, you go to the draft, legendary draft, LeBron, Melo, D-Wade, Bosh. I mean, when Darko got picked, were you like, what the fuck?
You know what? I was actually looking to go train against and work out against and with Darko prior to the draft. Especially when I knew Detroit had the number 2 pick, and I could never find him. Like, they used to hide him in the gym. They used to, like, just keep him in the gym. Like, nobody could see his workouts. Nobody knew where he was at. And I was just like, man, wherever he's at, I want to go work out with him and against him for that team.
Right.
And that Detroit was just like, I actually thought I was going to Detroit, man.
Yeah, that was a loaded team, yeah.
I just knew I was going to Detroit.
And that's got to hurt Pistons fans because you added to that team. That's the team that won a title, a year later or something? Or
that
2
year.
years later?
They were a great team.
Right, and you would have complimented them perfectly because they were
won.
winning a title, scoring 80 points. Could have used a guy like Carmelo Anthony.
And then they got Rasheed Wallace that year. Mm-hmm. They got traded, and that's what kind of put them over the top. They was already good. Right. But Rasheed really gave them another personality on that team and a different personality on that team.
That team was so good that I think they had 4 out of 5 All-Stars
that
year. And the one that wasn't All-Star was Rip Hamilton, who's an excellent player, like an awesome player.
Right.
Speaking of that draft night, we got something that I think we want to pull up real quick over here. It's a picture of that draft night. You probably know where I'm going to go with the picture.
I don't.
That I'm referring to. So it's
So
there it is. It's draft night. You and I share a similar taste in styles because we both like Jinko pants.
I can tell you we evolved. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I would say actually
Kirk Heinrich does you a favor.
Kirk Heinrich is the one that always sticks out to me. Although LeBron, I don't know what LeBron looks like he's going to a prom.
All white.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's a hell of a draft night.
At the time, everybody on that stage thought like we look real good, right?
Yeah.
Like you rolled up there. Well, did you ask them if they could like shorten the legs of the pants just a little bit, like just a couple
because
inches?
that was the style then.
What size T-shirt were you wearing when you were like wearing a T-shirt back then?
I was 4X, 5X. It was 4X, 5X tees.
They'd give you a double X. You'd be like,
with
no,
the
this
size,
isn't big enough.
You had a size 56, 58 throwback jersey on. 42, 44 jeans.
I mean, that picture, it does look like
the era was crazy.
A blimp landed on Kirk Heinrich's pants.
That era was.
I love the idea of just like you definitely are like an XL normally now. What do you wear a T-shirt?
I'm a large now.
Large, and you're wearing a 4 or 5X.
We was 4 or 5X.
Unbelievable.
I look back at pictures. I'm like, yo, what the hell were we doing?
I also love of this era when there's pictures. I'm sure you had the same guys carrying like PlayStations around to on the road. I just love that. Something about
So I was a DVD guy.
Yeah.
So I used to carry the DVD player. I used to carry the Walkman. I had my my Walkman and the iPod.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm talking about the wheel iPod.
Yep.
The original one.
Yep.
So that's what I was traveling with.
Yeah, I think we're the same age. How old are you now? 30.
I don't know.
I know you don't want to say that. Yeah.
You're 33.
I'm 37.
30. Okay, yeah, we're all the same age.
The same. Yeah. So did you ever carry around the camcorder?
Oh, for sure. I have. There's pictures out there of me carrying a camcorder. I recorded the Olympics all on a Sony.
Like the shoulder one?
The shoulder one. I remember going to, we went to China, and I went to China, and then I bought the camera. And I mean, there's pictures of me like at the opening ceremony walking around with the Sony camera, but it was. I went to school for photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like my minor.
Got it.
They didn't want to give me a major because I guess they said they was sending me on my way after that.
Yeah, right. Boeheim was kicking you literally out of school.
But you're getting shots that nobody else from that program got.
Yes. Oh, I was getting a lot of shots.
Yeah, I bet you were.
What so the when you're in the Nuggets at the Nuggets and you guys go to the Western Conference Final, I always thought you don't get enough credit for that series because you played great defense in that series. You guys, lost 4-2 to the Lakers.
Yeah.
When you were like in that moment, it felt like the Nuggets were really building something. Did it, like, in your mind, how did it kind of all fall apart where you end up getting traded, you asked for a trade, go to the Knicks? Like, what was the demise of what it felt like was going to build something long there?
What I can say about that is, and anybody who plays team sports and you catch this rhythm, you catch a flow, you catch a vibe, and you feel it like this is it. Okay, we established something here. And that was the year prior to that, we had AI. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like we were starting to like, okay, got AI, we gonna start adding a couple pieces here. Like we really gonna they really doing what they gotta do to put a team together in Denver. And they trade AI. So it was like bittersweet for me. I'm like, fuck, you got rid of my brother. Like, we were just getting it started. But they bring in Chauncey. And I'm like, that was, bittersweet. I'm like, all right, we get rid of AI. I'm mad, but bring Chauncey, cool. Like, all right, bet. So then we just started building, like, and you just felt the culture shift. Like, we started winning games. We started feeling good about winning games. Like, we was going into games like, if we do this tonight, we'll beat them by 20, right? And so that was like our mentality. Like we was just going into games and like with one goal and one focus and we, with a whole list of things that we had to do in between. But if we took care of that, you wasn't gonna beat us tonight. And that was something Chauncey brought to our team. He brought that cerebral kind of energy to our team to make us think the game as opposed to playing it physically. Like we had to really think the game with Chauncey. And I just knew after we went to the Western Conference Finals, I actually thought we were supposed to beat the Lakers.
Yeah, that was a competitive series.
I always said we was 2 inbound passes away from going to the finals. And that feeling was like, yo, we got to get back here again. So all we need to do is maybe plug and play 2 guys here and there. I think we was looking for another shooter, along with JR, we was looking for another one. And I think we was looking for maybe another big or something. We was looking for something. And they get rid of Dante Jones, who was a very pivotal part. He was like a connecting tissue.
My former teammate.
To our team. You a Dookie?
No, I played on the basketball tournament first year. He was on my team.
Okay.
Yeah, no big deal. I was kind of his enforcer. I have a clip I can show you where I had his back. Yeah. No, but he's a glue guy. We both can speak on it.
He was the glue guy.
Yeah, we can both speak on
this. He was the glue guy. So when they get rid of him, when they got rid of him, I'm like, no. You don't get rid of it. Like, sign the guy. I mean, he asks for $1 million, one more million.
He's a pros pro.
He's a pros pro. He asks for another million. If you give him another million, he'll take it. I know he got other money somewhere else, but if you give him this million, he's going to take it. And we talked about that. And they didn't. And we lose him. And then that was the effect. That was a domino effect. They wasn't going to re-sign Chauncey. They was thinking about trading JR and trading Kenyon Martin. So it was just at that point I didn't want to rebuild after going to the Western Conference Finals.
That's also an interesting point because one thing I love about basketball, I don't think it's the same. It's definitely not the same in baseball. Probably not the same in football too, where team chemistry matters so much in basketball.
It's underrated.
And I think that we forget that sometimes. You find that with the way that it has evolved where it's sabermetrics and everything is on a spreadsheet, that sometimes people in the media are just forgetting, like, it matters if, like, the shooting guard and the point guard like each other.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if I think Jay-Z said it best. If the point got beef with the big, that put the ring in jeopardy. And that's a true statement. Like, if you don't have chemistry with your teammates or on the team, I don't care how good you are, you're not going to win.
Right.
You know, because you're always second guessing something, or you always might see it your way and you might see it your way, and we may not see eye to eye. But if we sit down and we build that chemistry, then the way you're thinking, the way I think, we can come to a common ground and make something work. So I just always think that chemistry and bonding in basketball, I know with us, it's a must. You have to. So the people who's watching and just, you know, the media and people who announcing the game or just spectators, I think they know that, but I don't think they understand how important that is for us. We have to have a chemistry.
Right.
That's why it's training camps. That's why it's team bonding events. You go here with teams, you work out, you train, because a lot of that stuff happens off the court.
I feel like you have to care enough about your teammate to understand why they're doing certain things. That's off the court, and that's also, but that translates 100%.
But that's special though.
Court. Yeah.
That takes a special individual to go about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of learn everybody in their surroundings, what you like to do, what you don't like to do, when you like to go to sleep, what you like to drink, what you don't, what you eat for breakfast, how do you work out, how long you in the gym.
And that's
all of that stuff comes into play.
And that's why I truly love basketball, because when a team does hit that point where it's incredible. It's incredible to watch.
It's free flowing.
Yeah, right. It's like poetry in motion. It's
Absolutely.
just everything works perfectly, and you can see that they know where they're going to be before they're
there.
there.
It's like when you're watching a game and you just be like, somebody can make a crazy pass, that a no-look pass, they just knew that guy was going to be there.
Yeah.
That's chemistry. That's stuff that wasn't luck.
Right.
That's stuff that happened way before that I knew my guy was going to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
you get to New York, and I felt like you got a bum rap with the New York media. I never thought that you got a bum rap with the fans. I feel like the fans of New York loved you because you wanted to come to New York, right? You were the one that stood up. You said, "Hey, I want to be on the Knicks." Probably going back to when you were watching them, as a kid playing. Do you have any animosity towards the New York media that? Like, they're not easy to deal with. They try to stir up animosity sometimes.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like that's their job, And coming into New York, I knew what was at stake. Like, forget on court. Like, I just knew what I was about to face, and I was ready for that. I sat back as a fan of New York sports. I've watched how they handled Marbury. I've watched how they handled A-Rod and Manning and Jeter, just everybody who came through New York. I've watched them, how they did it, and I studied it. I studied Jeter, right? I studied A-Rod. I studied Marbury and how they was handling different situations. Isaiah Thomas in the front office and as a coach. Just New York sports as a whole, I studied that. So I knew, I ain't gonna play that game. I'm not going on that path.
Right.
I'm gonna just be here. I'm gonna be honest with them. I'm not gonna lie to them. Be straightforward. I'm gonna speak to you, win, lose, or draw. Regardless of what you ask me, I'm gonna answer your question. And at first, I thought that they maybe thought that I was full of shit. But as we went along, it was like, some of the media started to flip on my side because they realized, okay, this is very organic and authentic,
right,
coming from him. So I never played in media games because I know you can never win with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that coming into New York.
How many times did you watch the "I'm Coming Home" video?
I still watch it to this day.
I love that answer.
I still.
You were
I
the
can't
original.
lie.
You were the original.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I still watch it. I still watch it.
It was the most incredible video. Like, I don't care about the Knicks whatsoever, and I was pumped that you were on the Knicks. I was like, this is awesome.
It was a moment in time and in history, and as sports fans, and me being a sports fan of other sports, like we don't get those moments. We don't allow ourselves to cherish those moments. It's like on to the next. Oh, this one, okay, cool, that's one. But when we did that video, it was like I had to make a lasting impact on New York, not just the Knicks, but New York, the whole state of New York. And even if you wasn't from here, you felt like, damn, I should have been in that. I should have been at that moment.
Yes.
And that was the feeling that we was going for, and we accomplished that.
I'm so happy that you answered it that way, because like if I were you, I'd do the same thing. Just on a random Tuesday night, just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna pull this up and watch this real quick, get some goosebumps.
No, come on, man. I watch it. I watch it all the time, man. Because again, I don't watch it for the actual game. I watch it just that moment because
Yeah.
I also know what I had to go through to get to
Right.
that moment.
Right.
It made me like envious of New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And that would never be a thought that would occur to me. Like if
That
you
and
don't grow up in
that,
New
I mean,
York-
honestly, that's why like I always would feel like not indebted to New York, but like this is mine because I've never seen anybody receive or get received like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care. People came through. Like Michael Jordan came to New York. But he played with Chicago.
Right.
But I never seen like somebody from New York sports franchise come into a city and be received that way.
Yeah.
The doors are open arms, embrace, hug. You're ours now.
And there's something like romantic about Madison Square Garden and the Knicks. They haven't been great. Like there's an energy that I think is like an elusive energy that people are trying to recapture that is just something special.
It's listen, moments in the Garden are moments in the Garden. You can't recreate that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to let the moments happen.
What's your favorite moment ever in the Garden?
I think that one, like that, and not even playing, just like walking out that tunnel and waving is just like seeing the video.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't show me the video prior to that. They was just like, man, we just gonna give you a nice introduction. You know, you'll come out, and I come on, you can't do this shit before the game. I got goosebumps. I might shoot the ball over the basket.
Right.
I'm so hyped, but it was a great moment, man. And you know that was one. I think I know we played Chicago. I think that was St. Patty's Day or something like that. I tied the game up and won the game with the 2-game winners. So that was a moment. The 62-point game was probably the top.
Mm-hmm. So I told you before we started that I'm a Bulls fan. I still contend that if you had joined the Bulls in 2014, that team would have competed for a title. So walk me through that. I have a question first, and it's going to be creepy. And I know the answer to it, but I got to ask it anyway.
Do you know the answer?
Yeah, you probably have no idea who I am. You probably never on your radar. But I did go on a hot dog strike for you to sign with the Bulls that summer. I only ate hot dogs for dinner for like 2 weeks straight. I tweeted at you every day, being like, "Please come."
It probably was the hot dogs. I wasn't gonna reply to that.
You're not a hot dog guy.
I just wasn't gonna reply.
It was never gonna work.
It was just every
the hot
treat.
dogs.
Yeah,
It was the hot dogs. It got me.
I'd put a pack on the grill. I'd be like, "Melo,
I couldn't
3
respond.
of those
I couldn't
are for you.
respond to the hot dogs.
3 of them are for me. Come to Chicago."
He actually answered the question like it would not have been good. It wouldn't have been a good fit for you to be in Chicago if you don't like hot dogs.
Yeah, well, you like hot dogs.
I just when he messaged me, I saw the hot dog. It's like I backed off of that message.
You never offer another man your hot dog. I got it. It might have been tampering too. Now that I'm thinking about it, but let's talk about that because I do think you were the perfect fit for that team. Was it the fact that the front office and the coach, the coach thought the front office was spying on him, which actually I think was true. Did you catch wind of all of that?
Oh, see, so you getting it from the other side.
No, I just know how dysfunctional it was.
Because you're a Bulls fan.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's helpful to know when I'm about to say my answer.
Okay, all right.
Because you're giving it to me from a different perspective.
Tom Thibodeau thought that Gar and Pax were spying on him, which I think was actually true.
I don't know what was going on.
Okay.
I just know I go off of energy. I go off of vibes. And when I get to Chicago, the vibe was there. You know, Joe Kim was there, D Rose was there, like, you know, we talking about it. And I'm sitting there just like I want to make this happen. Like I feel like if it's gonna be a time for me to make a move, like this is the right move for me to make. And then I leave and I go to a couple other cities. It wasn't the same reaction and vibe and energy, but I'm started getting these texts and calls like, man, this shit is crazy over here. You know, we don't know who want to be here. And I'm like, all right, listen, I'm not about to leave one of them type of situations to go to another type, the same situation.
Right.
I'd rather just come back home. I'd rather just stay where I'm at.
So it is kind of true that the front office and I've always thought that they're, at least in that regime, they've changed now, but that regime had trouble landing big free agents because that type of word gets out there around the league where it's like, hey, it's a little dysfunctional here.
Yeah, I think it was. I never heard of Chicago was dysfunctional. Being an outsider.
Oh, it was. I mean, John Paxson choked Vinny Del Negro when
I
he
never,
was the coach.
like I've never heard it, but you would see things, you would read things, you see reports on different players,
yeah.
and you just be like, well, what is going on over there?
Would it have been a good fit though? I think you would have, because it was the
It
you were
would've
the
been
offensive piece.
Yeah, it was.
That needed to be added.
They was a great, gritty team,
right?
You know? They
needed a scorer,
and they needed somebody else to score the basketball. It was I thought it was too much on D Rose as a point guard to try to score, get everybody involved, lead the team. He was MVP, but that's still a lot when you don't have that Robin with you,
right?
Batman or whatever. You don't have your other superhero with you.
Yeah.
You just have a great team, a well put together team, a great coach. But when you got to do it yourself, even though you can, when you got to do it yourself, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the Batman and Robin, because I'm about to ask a question that I'm going to hate saying, but I have to ask it. So Batman, Robin, AD, LeBron, which is which?
Who's Batman and who's Robin?
Yeah.
I'm a Justice League guy too.
Okay.
Right? So I know the original Robin and I know the new Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I watch Teen Titans and all that. Mm-hmm. So I think they both Batman.
Oh, come on.
But I'm gonna say this. I think they're both Batman. I think at times, AD can be Robin, right? LeBron could try to be Robin, but that ain't who he is. He is Batman. He Bruce Wayne. AD can be Robin. He can switch it up, and that's how I like to say that. Now they both Batman, but AD can be Robin a little bit more than LeBron can be a Robin.
Yeah. How frustrating was it when you were out of the league, knowing that you were still better than a lot of guys in the league? Because I'd see the videos. I am convinced that what's the gym called that you guys all work out at here in the
Sky?
city? Yeah, I'm convinced the rims are slightly bigger because no one ever misses in that gym.
It's a shooter's gym.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's
not bigger, but it's
a perfect gym for the
Yes,
Instagram.
yes.
But how frustrating was that? Because you're sitting there like, I'm still better than a lot of guys here. Why am I not playing?
Yeah, and it was my runs too. Like I was, I put the games on, so it's like I don't even want to go to my own runs because it's like I was embarrassed. I felt uncomfortable being around like other, my colleagues, other players. And just that time away from the game, I was like, at first, and again, it took me back to why me? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, out of all people, why me?
Right.
Is this karma? What did I do wrong? I started reflecting back on just things that I've done in life. Like, damn, does this have anything to do with it? And then I just had to get away from it. And I had to just say, basically just fuck it. Like, I don't care about the game no more.
Yeah.
The game didn't love me the way that I loved the game at that moment. So when that happens, you got to walk away from it.
Yeah.
When did you know that the game started loving you back? When did you start feeling that?
Going into the runs, playing pickup. I mean, the game, that never went nowhere. That would never go nowhere. And then I started traveling with my son and his basketball team, and just being around family and kids, and having conversations with them, and them still looking at me and thinking like, man, you should be in the league, or you should be what's going on, and where we going at? We can't wait till you get back on the team, and who's that player? Why is that player? Like, it was a lot of that stuff. So they the kids really gave me that energy back.
Yeah. I feel like that happens with artists, with athletes, with musicians, where it becomes, no matter how fun your job is, no matter how perfect people think that your life is, doing the same thing over and over, it'll have a grind on you. It has an effect on you after years and years. And when you see it from a different light, from like a kid's mind, it kind of reminds you of where you used to be when you were thinking about whether it's your art, your music, or your sport, and it kind of rekindles that a little bit in you.
Well, it rekindled the fire, I can tell you that, because it took me to say, okay, I'm done with it. Like, I had to put it in perspective. I was 15, 16 years in NBA. Not many people could say that they accomplished that. I I stood on that. Those 16 years, I did what I had to do. I wanted to win a championship. I couldn't. I didn't do it. Fuck it. I'm cool. Like I'm gonna get away from the game of basketball. But I had to really come to a hard stop. I don't want to talk about the game no more. I don't want to watch the game no more. I don't want anything to do with basketball because I'm completely done with it. I'm on to something else. And the more time that I was off, the further and further away that I was detaching myself from the game of basketball. And I started to see it differently. I had a different perspective on the game of basketball, the business of basketball, and just how to maneuver it, because I never got a chance to step out of it and look at it from a different perspective. I always had to go off of somebody else's perspective and what they think and what I should do and what they think I should do and so on. So when I got away from the game of basketball was really when my whole perspective on life changed. And I started really believing, like, basketball is not who you are. It's what you do, but it's not who you are. So don't allow yourself to be sulking on the couch. And you had 2-3 months to do that. Like, now it's time to put your big boy pants on, man up, stand up, and get to walking. And that was my mentality.
Yeah. So you just mentioned something about how you kind of came to peace with the fact that you didn't win a title. Now you're on the Lakers.
I can't come to peace with this one.
Yeah, like odds on. I mean, I think it's either you or the Nets. Odds on favorite to win the title.
Right.
Do you feel that pressure going in? Like this is the best chance I have.
Yeah, this. I mean, I don't feel the pressure. I embrace whatever is happening. I know what's at stake. But I know, like I said, I know it's at stake.
Right.
Like I'm not naive to that, But I don't feel the pressure right now, and I don't feel pressure. I get anxious. I lose sleep.
I think you're describing pressure.
Wait, but so
that's when you thinking, you up thinking, you just up and you just trying to figure it out. You're not. There's no pressure. You just want to make sure everything goes smooth.
Okay.
Everything go right.
I would imagine,
and I want to make sure I do what I got to do.
Right.
To be, an integral part in whatever team success we have.
And maybe this is wrong, but a lot of athletes we talk to, they have that feeling of like, all right, I don't feel pressure. I have anxiety before a game or something. But once I'm playing the game, this is what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah, but it's different because even though I said anxiety, I do a really good job at compartmentalizing. Mm-hmm. Right, and if this is what I got to deal with, I'm going to deal with this. I'll deal with everything else as I move along. But I know the situation that we're in. I know it's at stake. I know we all know it's at stake, and I know the mindset that we have right now, and we haven't even started doing anything together yet.
Right.
I know where we're at. I know based off of reactions. I know based off of conversations. I know tone of voice. I know tone of conversation, and I know how locked in guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if we do what we have to do, we'll give ourselves a good chance to get there. And once you get there, anything can happen once you get there. We just want to get there and give ourselves a chance to win a championship.
Yeah.
How concerned are you with the new ball that's coming out this year? Have you shot with the new ball?
The Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I shot with Wilson. I had to get used to it.
Is it so it's a little bit different?
It's a little bit different.
Would you say that it's like, you remember a few years ago when the NBA switched up the balls?
It wasn't that. No, it's not that.
The reason I'm asking is I'm trying to figure out what to bet on. If I should just bet all the
sticky
unders.
Ball.
Oh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ball was bad.
I can't tell you what to bet on.
Yeah. All right, I got two steps.
All right, let me ask you this. Are you a better shooter with a new ball or a worse shooter with a new ball?
I adapt.
Okay.
Good answer. I mean, I assume.
Me too.
I would imagine it's just. Is there ever a time where you're just like, this is so fucking sweet that I'm this good at shooting? Is that a dumb question?
No, it's not a dumb. No, it's not a dumb question. People ask me that.
Yeah, because I would think that like
how do you people would say
miss.
People would say how do you get your shot that way how, and I'd be like, man, I've been playing basketball for 30 years.
Right.
I've been practicing this for 30 years, and I'm still practicing it. So just the way somebody can tell you need 10,000 hours of anything you do to be successful, I have maybe double or triple that,
right,
quadruple those hours that I put into my craft, which is I'm reaping what I sowed right now.
Yeah.
That's the benefits of the work that I put in.
All right, so I have 2 stats for you.
I hate stats, but go ahead.
Okay, these are a little bit don't worry. These are a little different stats. Don't worry about it. The first one is I got it fuck out of here stat. So I don't know if you know this, but TNT audio dropped 16 times per 48 minutes when Carmelo Anthony was on the court because you were swearing so much. Did you know that?
I did. I've heard. I've heard tone.
Fuck out of here,
I've heard
stat.
tone it down. I've heard it.
I mean, you should just keep playing the way you're playing. Don't worry about that.
You can't change a player's game in a night.
Yeah. The other stat. So 2015 All-Star game.
Okay.
At the time, it was the most points ever scored in an All-Star game. I think it was like 168 to 157.
That was here in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
You played 30 minutes.
Yep.
You had 0 assists.
Yep.
How?
How?
Yeah, how?
Nobody was making shots.
There's 167 points scored. Or 300, yeah,
Listen,
300 plus.
See, that's knowing your personnel.
Yeah.
You got to know your place. When you're on a team like that, you do what you do best. And everybody would tell you, do what you do best. Because if you don't, you got all-stars on your team.
Yeah.
So why would I try to come in and be a passer when I have a passer on the team?
It's
Why
true.
would I come and try to block shots when I have a guy who can block shots?
That's true.
I'm here to score.
Yeah. I like it.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and
It's
you
a really
scored in
good
that
point.
game, yeah.
Was there ever any moment this summer when the when the Olympic team got off to like a slow start in some of their qualifying games? Were you like, or not qualifying, but the practice games that they had leading up to it in Vegas? Were you thinking like, hey, maybe I should just give Pop a call because like
because we talked about chemistry earlier, and you need chemistry. Like you talking about guys who just. Even though we compete against each other every day and some guys play with each other on each other's team, it's still you can't put that together in a week and expect that you're gonna be successful. So I've been part of USA basketball since I was in the 11th grade. I played in four Olympics. I know what it is to put these teams together quick. I know in 2004 we put that team together in 2 weeks, and we went over there and got our ass whipped. But I also know what happens when you take your time and put the right pieces together and build that culture. And look at us now, we 3 gold medals, and after that, World Championship 3 gold medals. So to answer your question, no, I knew we was going to win. We the best in the world. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how much the rest of the world is catching up. They're learning from us. They're only catching up to us because they're learning from us. And I embrace that. I embrace the international play. I embrace the new guys that's coming in, but we're still the best in the world. We had, regardless, we didn't have the top of the top, the cream of the crop, but we still, those guys are top of the top.
Yeah.
And what they do. So I knew they would get it. I knew they would get it together. I never had no doubt.
What is it about the international game specifically that makes you such an awesome player? You are Captain America for the United States team. Is it just like you've had the experience? You just said yourself like you've been a part of USA basketball for so long. Or is there something specific about the game?
I can adapt. Like what I can do, my skill set, I can adapt anywhere, in any type of game. So the USA game, that was an easy game for me. International game is an easy game. Again, I'm playing with the best players in the world, not in the country, in the world. So when you're on a court with four other the best players in the world, you just do what you do, right? And it wasn't complicated. You catch and shoot if you open, you swing it and pass it if you're not, and just be ready for whatever we need. And that was the mentality. And I found myself having success in the international game because this is just my take. I just think that my game flourishes when I'm on the court with great players like that. Because they respect me, I respect them. We know how to make it work. I can go get my own if I really wanted to. So I don't need somebody to spoon feed me. I just know my place in the game. And when you're playing with the best of the best, you just got to find your place in the game. And that's what I did. I found my place on the USA team. And I've had success with it.
It's kind of like when Kevin Durant talks about playing with the Warriors, and obviously from a fan's perspective, people were mad when he made that move. But when you hear him talk about it, he's like, "This is the most fun I've ever had playing basketball."
Like how could you not enjoy that?
Right.
Like if you have the opportunity to do it. I mean, now before it was different. Like early when we first came in the NBA, it was no way I was going to somebody else's team.
Right.
You know, it was no way I was going to play with Kobe. It was no way I was going to play with T-Mac. Like there was just no way. You know what I'm saying? Because the mentality was different, the game was different, situation was different. Everybody had their own situation, and made the best man win at that point in time. Now it's like you try to do that now, your ass will be out the league.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible for anybody to do that.
Yeah.
Now. It's I don't want to say it's sad, but it is sad.
It's a little bit sad.
Because
changed,
it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible for you to try to go do it by yourself. And I know guys who still have that mentality, who want to do it by themselves. It's just impossible to do.
The problem with that is it wears you down over the years if that's your mentality that you stick with for forever. Because unless you're the top of the top, unless you're the one that's winning multiple rings, you're going to have that chip on your shoulder, and pretty soon that chip's going to be a boulder, and it's going to just kind of like
that's when the
drag you down mentally.
That's when the pressure comes on.
Yeah.
When it's just you feel weighed down, you feel bogged down, you feel like no matter what you do, it's just not going to be enough.
And you're not speaking about anyone specifically who still acts like that, like someone maybe you were a teamate with last year or anything.
No.
No, okay, all right, got it.
Who you referring to?
CJ McCollum.
Dame is,
Dame?
Dame is. Everyone's like, "Hey, Dame, go somewhere else," and it's like,
see, the thing is, people don't know Dame, right? And Dame don't speak. Dame, Dame quiet. Dame is in Portland. Dame doing his own thing. Dame chilling. And the minute that he says something, it's like, oh, he went out. Oh, he want to leave. Oh, he want to do this. Oh, he want to. But nobody speaking to him.
Yeah.
So I know him. So I understand what's going on with him and how he's thinking. Now we'll have these man-to-man conversations, and I tell him, look, you got to take care of yourself at the end of the day. I've been in your situation. I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just telling you to whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you feel like will get you to a ring, then you have to make that happen.
Yeah.
And it's not about being disrespectful. It's not about, going in there kicking down the door saying it. No, you go in there, you handle your business the way that you handle your business, and you go from there. And if it don't work, it don't work. It's life. You know, people move on in life.
Yeah. So we have a couple minutes left. I have a last question that I'm going to ask you about your memoir, Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised, a memoir of survival and hope. But I have one before I do my last question about the book. I have the toughest question you're going to ever get in your press tour, and I'm sorry that I have to ask this. The banana boat.
What about it?
Not getting invited on it. Was that the worst moment of your career?
No, it was a great moment of my career.
You dodged a bullet?
I dodged a bullet.
You got left out. You got left out.
You know what? I didn't get left out, though. I didn't get left out. They was already down there, and I was meeting them.
Oh, this sounds like someone was getting left out. But keep
going.
Yep.
I had just flew in.
Right.
And we were like taxiing to the boat.
Right.
And they were already in the water doing water sports.
Right.
So as I see them as I'm going to the boat on the banana boat. And I'm just like, what is this? And they like, come on. I'm like, no, I'm not getting on that shit. I'm not.
You were invited.
You turned it down.
You were invited on the banana boat.
Informally, it was like it was the hand wave. Like, come on, it was that.
I want to know what a formal invitation to the banana boat looks like now.
Formal invitation, yo. This is the plan. We get on the banana boat.
Yeah, we'll wait for you to land.
Right,
And then we'll get you on the banana boat.
Send you a calendar invite.
Yeah.
Right. That's a formal invite.
If you had been on the boat,
I wouldn't have been on it. I wouldn't have been.
You wouldn't?
No. But I wouldn't have been on it. I wouldn't have got on it. But, and I don't like using but. With that being said, I am an extension. I am a banana boat family. Like we are, you know what I'm saying? Like and they got on me one time.
Yeah.
Man, why you keep saying you ain't a banana boat? Like, all right, man, fuck it. I'm on a banana. I'm part of the banana boat, man. Fuck it. I wasn't on there. Like, you keep arguing, you keep fighting it. I'm part of the banana.
You give off banana boat vibes.
Yeah.
Which
you're
that's
honorary banana boat
give
member.
banana boat vibes.
It's a compliment.
We recreated the picture.
Yeah.
With you guys?
Yeah, and Ryan Russillo.
He's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I just wish you had been on the banana boat. That's all. I
know,
felt bad. I was like, where's
You
Melo?
know what? I know everybody wish I was on that banana boat.
Yeah.
Because that's the picture everybody wants.
Yes.
The other picture is cool.
It's so
They want to
funny.
see Melo on that banana boat.
Yes.
I wouldn't give y'all the time.
I
to do
All right,
it.
let's
think
do
it's
this.
perfect the way it is.
Let's do this, though. If you win a title this year, I think you got to get on the banana boat. I think
Hell
you got to
no.
recreate the banana. No, if you win a title, you get on the banana boat.
No, hell no.
Why? Then what does it matter? You've done everything. Your entire career, you've done literally everything.
Yeah,
Except the
except
banana,
banana
boat.
boat. Yeah.
Right. So
I'm good.
you win the title, get on the banana boat.
I ain't gonna be thinking about
Promise
a
me that.
banana boat if I win a title.
It's the last mountain to climb. That's all you got left now.
I won't be thinking about that if I win.
All right, no. What's gonna happen is you're gonna win a ring. You're gonna go on vacation with the fellas, and you're gonna be drunk. And a banana boat's just
That's the
gonna happen
worst time to get a banana boat.
It's just gonna happen to be next to a banana boat, and you guys are all gonna look at each other,
Yup.
and be like,
Yup.
"Oh, are we doing this again? We're getting the band back
Yup.
together."
Hell no. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Hell
Oh
no.
man. Go ahead.
I have one more visual aid I'd like to show you real quick. I just want to get your take on this picture. It went viral a couple months ago. It's you and Buddy Boeheim. Is that wild or
My
what?
guy.
That's wild.
Is that wild?
Yeah, that's wild.
Because then he was in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
Right.
that was wild.
Wild.
It was wild.
I agree. That's because then it's wild that he took them. How deep did they go? They went to Where'd they go? Sweet 16?
16.
Elite Eight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. And
Wild
now the other Boeheim's on the team too.
Yep.
Jimmy.
Jimmy came
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yep. So wild.
Just wild stuff. Just
Yeah.
wanted to point that out.
That picture was. I mean, that's actually a moment though. Like
Right.
you know, like we talked about moments earlier. Like that's actually a moment to see that picture and to see where he's at right now. Like that to me, that's a special picture for me.
Yeah.
Because that was him, and when I was in the locker room every day, he come sit next to me in the locker. He come and pulling me. I play with him, chase him around the locker room, chase him in the arena. Like it was. That was our relationship.
Yeah.
And to see where he's at now is a special feeling.
It's awesome.
cool.
And that looks like maybe a 4XL shirt.
Yeah, that was from the flea market too.
Okay.
After we won, I went down to the projects in Syracuse, and it was like a flea market, and they spray painted it, and
Love it.
it was.
4X,
I think it was 5X.
5X. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was
All right,
5X.
my fault. My apologies. All right, so we're gonna wrap up. This is the last question, the Roback question. Go to roback.com. Performance zips, T-shirts, everything. We actually have a performance zip for you, but you're probably not going to take it. But we have it. Roback.com. Use code PFT. You get 20% off. Use code PFT. You get 20% off. All right, so the book, everyone should go buy it. Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised, a memoir of survival and hope. People read this book. What's the one thing that you hope they take away with them from the book?
Honestly, like I want. This is more for the younger generation, because I still feel like I'm the connective tissue to a couple generations, and why I'm still able to speak and that younger generation still listens to me. I want them to feel like they have a voice. I want them to see my story and hear my story and feel like, damn, if he really did it, not just somebody putting together, some pictures or a story. No, this is me writing my own story from my perspective. And that's what I want everybody to just know, that, it's cool to be vulnerable. It's cool to talk about things that's uncomfortable and be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I don't regret anything of how I grew up, what I've been through. I don't regret none of that. And because that's my foundation of who I am today. So what I'm saying is, what I want to say is, it's a universal message also. It's not just for boys, it's not just for young girls. It's for any and everybody around the world who going through some type of struggle and looking for, some type of light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what I hope everybody get out of it.
And on top of all of that, stay mellow.
When in doubt,
stay mellow.
Stay mellow.
So we could do a whole other hour about the stay mellow and everything. But this has been awesome. Carmelo Anthony, we really appreciate you coming by. We've been looking forward to this interview for a long time. So
indeed, I appreciate you guys, man.
And I would say good luck, but I don't like LeBron. So
You know what? I think
good luck.
I'm rooting
Personally,
for you.
Yes, and I'm rooting for AD. I
You
like
know what?
AD.
I think you're
like Russ.
I think you're Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Batman by nature though. Just
That's so fucking cool to just say that. And
I'm
it's
Batman by
true.
nature.
Right.
I am who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, thank you.
Captain America.
Yes.
There we go.
Appreciate it.
They can be Batman and Robin.
Yeah, you be Captain America. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank
so
you,
much.
my brother. Always. Thank you.
That very, 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 very special guest, Carmelo Anthony, was brought to you by Cross Country Mortgage. Cross Country Mortgage is a lot like us here at Barstool. They're a people-first group of people. They're dedicated to the fundamentals of mortgage lending, which results in a fast, convenient, and less stressful home financing or refinancing experience. Mortgage rates are unbelievably low. Don't pay the bank more money than you need to. Our friends over at Cross Country Mortgage make it super simple to figure out how much you can save on a monthly basis and over the life of your loan. The numbers can be staggering. You don't know how much you can save unless you actually talk to an expert and you figure it out. So check it out at Cross Country Mortgage. They will make sure that you are not paying any more than you have to. They make it easy to deal with the mortgage industry. That can be a very stressful time in people's lives. If you're buying a home or if you're refinancing, well, the people at Cross Country Mortgage are people first group of people. They are here to help you out. Rates might never get this low again. Check them out. Go to crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool. Learn more about your future home buying experience, or you can refinance your current mortgage. crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool. Cross Country Mortgage LLC NMLS 3029. All loans subject to underwriting approval. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Okay, let's wrap up. We got guys on chicks. Henry, we're back.
I want to say real quick before we get to guys on chicks, terrible news today. R.I.P. Norm Macdonald,
Yes.
maybe the greatest, one of my favorite comedians of all
Agreed.
time. It was kind of crazy. After the news came out on Twitter, you could just hear people in the office pulling up various routines of his and listening to them on their phones or their computers, and it made me happy to hear that stuff because Norm's jokes. I mean, there's something about Norm that makes him just a uniquely talented voice in a very crowded field.
He's one of those guys that it's very rare to see, but he made other comedians laugh so hard. And when you see that, you're like, oh, okay, so this guy, that's funny to a different level, because it's not just making, regular Joes and audience members laugh. It's making some of the funniest people. He's the funniest guy in a room full of comedians.
Yeah.
So, yeah. RIP for sure. All right, guys on chicks.
Is using the fan app or a real fan for white noise beta? It sounds like you're trying to drown out your thoughts so that you can go to sleep. Big Cat recently said overthinking is beta.
What?
Addison Rae recently said overthinking is hot.
What?
So
Okay.
are you? The question is, are you guys
Case settled.
Are you guys using the fan app because you're trying to drown out your brain?
Yes, absolutely.
I use it just because it's I don't know. We live in New York City. Like a fucking trash truck can come by at 4 a.m. and just start throwing shit into the back. I don't want to be woken up by that shit. They start construction. There is no rules with construction in New York City.
No. The fan app it's still confusing to me because I've tried listening to it.
Well, it's just a fan.
I don't. The fan app.
Yeah, I know. It's just a fan.
I don't
Like
find
on your commute?
I don't find
What's
anything
confusing about it?
I don't find anything soothing about it.
It's just white noise.
It misses that part of my brain. White noise is not soothing to me for whatever reason.
It's really just because I live in New York City and I don't want to deal with anything that could wake me up in the middle of the night.
Guys,
What's up?
please help a sister out.
Oh.
What is the deal with a chick seeing you pee? My husband and I are very comfortable with each other. I mean, he's been on the business end of 2 births, helped me pull stitches out of my hey nanny
Whoa.
after our daughter was born.
Okay.
And yet, if I come too close while he's peeing, he literally freaks. I think he's worried I won't want to give him head if I see pee physically exit the same hole. Ha 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 ha. I don't know, is this weird? Is this all guys? Just speaking for me, but I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know what's weird about.
I think-
why would you ever be afraid to pee in front of a girl?
I think the only thing I can think of is he probably pees all over the seat. He doesn't want to be. That probably is something he's hiding.
Might have bad aim.
Yeah, but I don't. This is not a thing. Your husband is weird.
Is he? Are you married to Ed Sheeran?
He's jerking off and peeing at the same time.
Hey, PMT gang. We recently moved into a house that has a microwave in our kitchen island that my husband refuses to stop calling a dick microwave.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he's correct.
Whenever someone new comes over, he insists on showing them our dick microwave. I've asked him to stop calling it a dick microwave, but he insists. He says it is a sign that we've made it.
It's a convection oven.
How can I get my husband to stop telling all our friends and family that we have a dick microwave?
You can't. You have made it. That is, we were so stupid to not realize that is truly the sign of like being financially secure, is having a dick microwave.
Yeah, as many things as you can have in your house at penis level.
Yeah.
There's something like subliminal about that. The only way that you can get him to stop calling it a dick microwave, if you call it a dick microwave before he has a chance to. Mm-hmm. So when you're giving the tour, you jump in and you're like, that's the dick microwave. And if he hears you say that enough, he'll just stop doing it.
Or you could...
I don't think that's true.
You could store your dildos in the dick microwave. He would probably stop talking about it then. You're like, what? I got confused. You said the dick microwave. And then he'd be like, wait, you have this many dildos and they're that big? Damn.
Football is back, boys. I need some advice. When my boyfriend pees, he sometimes drips a couple drops of pee on the bathroom mat in front of the toilet.
Normal.
When I go to use the toilet after him, I sometimes step in his drips of pee when I'm going to sit down on the toilet. Is this a normal thing guys do, or should I make him clean it up each time?
It sounds, not to judge, because, listen, it takes all body types, but he just might have a short dick.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he might need to hover.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agreed.
Get over the target.
Just squat.
Yeah.
One thing that always, I've never really been a huge fan of the fly system, because I feel like whenever I do that, I end up getting some on my leg. Like, it's hard.
Dribble?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to get it all out unless you really, go over the pain.
I agree.
It's like childish. I feel like this is something children do, but it's like I've had bad experiences with the fly.
I've been having some issues because my son likes to walk in while I'm peeing, and he likes to close the toilet. He doesn't know when I'm about to be done. He doesn't know there's something that comes after, like, how you pee, and then there's that last, like, all right, it's actually a lot of pee.
He goaltends. Yeah.
He fucking just shuts it right on me, and then I just pee all over the place.
Hello, this is a chick. I would like to know what your impression of girls who went to beauty school instead of college are. Honestly, not sure if there's a topic for these or if they're just random. Anyways, don't talk shit because I'm in beauty school.
Okay.
Why would we talk shit about beauty school?
I have no problem with beauty school. Although there is a very specific type of girl I think about when I think about beauty school. It might be localized to my hometown, but everybody that I know that went to beauty school ended up having the worst hair and makeup of all time.
Oh.
I don't know why. They do a great job on other people, but they always have like a giant highlighted stripe through their hair.
I got no problem with beauty school. Come on. That keeps the world going round. Honest living.
What do you learn in beauty school? Just makeup and hair, and is that it? Waxing?
Yeah. I think a lot of hair,
Nails.
Nails.
I mean, if you're ever trying to give yourself a haircut, it's not like super easy. So I respect all barbers, beauty school, all that stuff.
All right, so I don't even remember this, but this is someone responded with an update about my boyfriend with small junk.
Uh-oh.
I took your advice and just pulled out the toy. It did not go over well.
Oh, no, we gave that advice?
He immediately got mad and was asking why I needed it.
No.
Didn't have the heart to tell him the truth,
knows.
so he stormed out.
Oh, no.
At least one of us ended up having a good time.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
I don't remember giving that advice.
I don't regret giving that advice at all. And you know what? It worked for you, because if he got that pissed off and that insecure that he left, that's not a guy that you want to be with for the long term.
Also,
that's not a guy that cares about you.
Yeah.
And
Also, it's kind of
dick.
self-fulfilling prophecy, small dick energy.
Yep.
To get that upset.
All right,
I
last
say the
one.
more toys, the better.
Yeah.
Bring them out.
Bring them out.
Keep that motherfucking thing on me.
Billy, Big Cat, PFT, Jake, ... Hank, ranked in order of best podcast voice. Rude.
Wow.
What was it?
I have a terrible podcast voice.
Billy,
Big Cat, PFT, Jake, ... Hank.
Okay, no Bubba was listed on that list. And then, that's got to sting for Jake. Jake's really the big loser in that for not being number one.
and also Billy's definitely going to use this in like the end of the year review when he's like, reasons why I should take over. Pardon my take. This one chick said that I have the best podcast.
Studies have
voice.
shown that I got like a pretty sweet voice.
Yeah.
Sample size.
I've listened to PMT a little over a year now, and I love the podcast, even though I know absolutely nothing about sports.
Love it.
Neither do we.
I think your guys' banter is hilarious.
Thank you.
Problem is, my ex-boyfriend, that's even worse, because it's just like she's just being brutally honest. And there's so many dots before my name.
Yeah, because that actually is true.
Not that it's in my head about it.
That is true, because she's not really even listening for the sports talk.
No.
She's just listening for the voices.
Right.
She is the best person to judge that.
I mean, I know I have a bad voice too, but
I don't think you have a bad
Hank,
voice.
No, I do.
You got a
I think we
beautiful
all
voice.
have below average voices in general.
I think I've got a terrible voice.
We just have voices.
Jake has.
No one has
I mean,
remarkable.
Jake went to school for this voice shit.
Yeah, that's true.
it's like,
Sorry,
my
Jake.
voice just sucks.
Get a
whatever.
refund, Jake.
The problem is, my ex-boyfriend is the one who introduced me to PMT. It also came to light that he is a cheater and a scumbag.
Fuck him.
I'm now finding it difficult to listen to the podcast without wanting to text him funny shit that was said on the podcast. Advice? Thanks. He'll know who he is.
Oh. All right, so text him this. Fuck you, buddy. Should have cheated on this fine piece of ass. Me. Big cat. Just making sure she knew I said that.
I don't like the fact that we have people that cheat that listen to our podcast.
Yeah. So that guy's disavowed.
Yeah, he's not allowed to. Tell him he's banned for the rest of this episode.
Probably because he likes my voice.
He likes your voice?
That was probably a big disagreement point that they
Yeah.
had in the relationship.
Definitely. All right, Billy, any recaps? This is
Yeah.
now our number one voice.
So the hardest part about
She just likes bros.
Yeah, your voice sucks, Bill.
Yeah.
I know it does suck. It really does. I
voice
know.
is
Your boyfriend cheated on you and is a scumbag, and you also are attracted to Billy. Huh. I can kind of figure this one out. Okay.
Harsh. But McGregor and MGK both caused a scene on Sunday night at the VMAs, and that made everyone realize that they weren't invited to the Met Gala. So it kind of
MGK was definitely
MGK went to
was
the
at the Met Gala.
He made out with Megan Fox while Kardashian
No, I think
was
that was the
making out
VMAs.
with Travis. No, that was yesterday.
Actually,
Billy's actually
you're right.
right.
No,
Billy's
he's right.
right.
because
Billy's right.
because all the
Billy's
They were wearing
pictures.
different outfits.
Yes,
yeah.
Billy's right.
But MGK was at the Met Gala too.
Yes, but he
You
is
sure?
right because
Okay.
they presented Kardashian and Megan Fox presented together at the VMAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all right.
I have no idea.
Billy deserves credit
Billy's
here.
extra right.
Good job, Billy.
I think because the whole thing was about McGregor wanting a picture with her in that see-through outfit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gronk is also the biggest stolen valor guy.
Why?
Officially.
Why?
He's been stealing valor.
Why?
He wants military insurance.
USAA?
Yeah, he stole. He ruined the joke because he's actually trying to get insurance.
Is he on USAA?
He's been trying.
I actually think if you win a Super Bowl, you should be allowed to get into USAA.
What is he doing?
Haven't you been seeing the
He's
commercials?
the spokesperson for.
He
USAA.
keeps trying to get military insurance. I think he's crossed the line.
Is that the point of the commercial where he's like trying to get USAA but he can't because he's Gronk?
Right.
So whenever Gronk's on my screen, my brain just shuts off and I'm just like, okay, there's Gronk.
He's trying to claim military benefits.
I assume this is for LMFAO's greatest hits.
improper benefits.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, you and Gronk are the same guy.
No, but he's the more military stealer.
Like, if you could be one football player in the world,
He's the more
who would it be,
military
Billy?
stealer.
Billy's career aspirations are to marry into the Gronkowski family.
Someday I want to be a Gronk.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, numbers.
You mean 8?
97.
69.
95.
I don't think 97 exists in here. It's never been polled.
41 is out and 13 is out.
Male
playing
giraffes headbutt female giraffes till they piss. Then they drink the piss to taste if they're
65.
pregnant.
Bonk.
65.
It's a big time bonk. Love you guys.